WBUR Podcasts, Boston.
I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and you're listening to The Common. Thanksgiving is basically here, and lately, all I can think about is food. So I figured it would be fun to do a cooking episode where we try out a recipe to help those of you who may need a little help finalizing your Thanksgiving menu at the last minute. And let me tell you, our guest, Jay Vilar, came through. He's the program director for Haley House, a food justice nonprofit based in the South End in Roxbury. They run a number of programs for the community like, soup kitchens, a food pantry, and even cooking classes. Jay took some time to show us a recipe for cauliflower stuffing that ought to be a healthy yet tasty addition to your Thanksgiving table.
So this is a recipe that we use in our Take Back the Kitchen program. So Take Back the Kitchen, or TBK, primarily works with young people, teaching them nutritional cooking skills. And how we think about our recipes when we work with Take Back the Kitchen is how do we include as much nutrient density in the dishes as we can while learning culinary art skills. So this dish particularly has an onion, carrots, celery, mushrooms, of course, cauliflower. We have an herb, which is our chives, and we have an array of spices that we're going to be using. And I like to describe cooking as like learning how to play an instrument. Like right now, we're going to be learning like a bunch of like notes. We're going to put it all together. There's going to be some flavors that we're going to be sort of experiencing, but it doesn't end there. So each recipe has an opportunity to enhance or dehance like varying levels of flavors that you particularly like.
All right, so the dish is pretty simple. You basically chop up a bunch of veggies and saute and season them to your liking. But despite the simplicity of the actual dish, Jay really blew my mind with some of his basic techniques that literally anyone can do, like cutting an onion correctly.
So we have our onion here, and the first thing that I'm going to look for is our little root. And I'm simply going to cut the onion in half, and then on both sides of the sliced onion, I have 2 pieces of the root. So I'm going to give you 1/2 of the onion, and I'm going to take the other half of the onion. And the first thing that you'll do is you'll identify the root and you identify the top of the onion. And you're actually going to take off the top of the onion piece here.
Okay, taking off the top.
Yep, taking off the top. So now, Daryl, what you're going to do is you're going to peel off the top of
And we're keeping the root on.
You're keeping the root on.
Okay.
Yeah, the root is very important in this exercise because what happens is that if you take off the root, that sort of onion that will perpetuate the air and make you cry is going to release even faster. So
that's why I'm not crying right now.
I'm crying right now.
Now, we don't have time to play the entire recipe for you, but we cannot leave out the star of the show, the cauliflower.
So you're simply just going to run your knife down and create a flat cauliflower.
Cut right through the cauliflower head.
You cut right through the cauliflower head. Now, there's a number of ways in which you can work with cauliflower. If you, like me, are working with young people and teaching them how to sort of interact with their food, I like them to touch their food as much as they can. I'll sometimes just have them like break it apart, just so they can kind of see the varying levels of shapes that they can make without using a knife. And typically, what I'll have them do is I'll just have them break as much of the cauliflower into little flowets as I possibly can. And then that's typically what we're going to be using for the dish. So imagine little pieces of popcorn. That's the size of the cauliflower that we're going to be looking for.
Okay, so once all the veggies are chopped, diced, and minced, it's time to throw them together in a pan and start cooking. And of course, if you're Jay, drop a little more knowledge on me.
So Daryl, so now what we're doing is we are over our hot plates.
Yep.
So the oil is heated up, and we're going to add our onions and our carrots together. because we want to cook down our onions to release that flavor and create more of that sugary taste that onions can have, as well as our carrots, because our carrots are the most dense of the vegetables that we cooked. So we want to cook those simultaneously.
Okay.
So do you want to do the honors? Just putting like a little handful of onions.
There we go. Got a little handful there.
There you go. And kind of a handful of carrots.
While the veggies were doing their thing in the pan, Jay and I had an opportunity to talk a little bit more about how Haley House works and how they use food to build community. I'm learning so much today, man.
There you go.
I know folks going through the Haley House are eating good, man. I'm learning so much.
They are. So the folks that prepare our meals at Haley House, Soup Kitchen, they're part of our live-in community. So think about like the Boston Peace Corps. So folks volunteer their time anywhere from 3 to 2 years where they physically live at Haley House. So anywhere from 20 to 25 hours a week, they're managing our soup kitchen. And they manage the soup kitchen with an army of volunteers, anywhere from students at BC, that's part of our Pulse program. They'll come in. Our neighbors will come in. Folks who have just been part of our mission will come in, and they'll literally show up at Haley House at 6 a.m. Our live-in volunteers will see what's available to make, and then create these like delicious meals that our guests and our volunteers get to share together.
And it's like, yeah, that's a fantastic way to learn how to cook and also do something for the community.
That's right.
It's like everybody wins in that situation.
And I love the creativity of it because, we get a lot of food donations from the Boston Food Bank, as well as Living Spoonfuls, as well as some other stores that generously kind of donate foods that aren't expired, but, just need to be used either the next day or so. And you'll see things like eggplants or beets or flour to make pancakes or like chicken. So, we'll do, fried chicken or baked chicken, sometimes pancakes, sometimes large salads, just to see and how we can use as much of the food as we can. There's always a hot option. There's always a salad option. So you're getting as much nutrients out of the meals in our soup kitchen as you possibly can.
Sounds like such a holistic experience.
Yeah, it's great. And then in our Take Back the Kitchen program, where we do our food cooking program, the young people prepare this meal, and then they'll eat it all together. So it creates this like experience where they are now in their own community experiencing food in this meaningful way.
And that's how you're going to make sure you cooked it right, because you're going to have to eat that.
That's right.
Don't give somebody something you wouldn't eat.
That's right.
That's awesome, because city like Boston, where it's very expensive, being able to afford good, healthy food consistently sounds like a challenge. So, it sounds like Haley House is doing some really great work.
Yeah. Like food access and affordability is definitely things that we look into as far as like our service and our mission. The neighborhoods that we serve are primarily known as like food deserts, and a lot of the vegetables that folks are introduced to, they're kind of seeing it for the first time. So I sometimes have to check my own privilege when I've had like plenty of guacamole in my lifetime, and I introduce avocados to like young people, and they don't know what it is.
Right. I haven't had an avocado until I was an adult.
No.
Now you can really season this dish however you want. We use salt, pepper, and one of my favorites, smoked paprika. But you could easily use other traditional Thanksgiving seasonings like thyme or sage. The other main spice we used in this dish was adobo, which actually has special ties to Jay's own love of cooking.
Adobo seasoning is kind of like your sort of catch-all seasoning that a lot of ethnic dishes use. So I'm half Puerto Rican, half Filipino, and then on my Puerto Rican side, we use a lot of the adobo seasoning, which kind of enhances a lot of the flavor. My Filipino side, there's a thing called chicken adobo, which actually doesn't use adobo seasoning. It's just called adobo.
Oh.
Chicken adobo is half soy sauce, half vinegar, and that's like the marinade. And then you add your chicken, you marinate that, and then you cook it into that marinade.
Oh.
And that's like the basics of it. Then you add varying levels of like a bay leaf, some pepper. You don't put any salt in it because of the soy sauce, right? And you add a little bit sort of like of the brown sugar to like caramelize it, and you serve it over rice. It's like one of my favorite
That sounds good.
like dishes that my Lola, my grandmother, taught me to make, and that was my entry point into like if I can do this dish, what else can I learn in the kitchen?
Gotta love grandma.
Right.
Always starts all this cooking stuff. Always goes back to grandma.
Totally,
For real.
absolutely.
Big shout to all the grandmas out there. We're gonna take a quick break, but stay there. We'll be right back.
Did you kill Marlene Johnson?
I think you're one of the first people to have actually asked.
From WBUR and ZSP Media, this is Beyond All Repair, a new podcast about an unsolved murder that will leave you questioning everything.
Somebody should be in jail for murdering my sister.
A woman who's never been believed.
As long as they think I have done this, then they're not looking for who actually did this.
And that's what makes it a cold case.
No, it's a botched case.
And a search for the truth, once and for all.
Wow, it just gets more interesting.
Beyond All Repair. Listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts.
Be careful. You're digging in a place that's been very peaceful for a while.
Do it anyway. Dig.
All right, once the veggies are cooked and seasoned, it's finally time for the best part of the process, checking your work. Should I just kind of scoop it all in? Scoop it all onto the plate. Oh man, that smells nice. It smells nice and warm.
Yep.
Like when I say warm, I mean this reminds me of home. You know, I'm smelling the aromas, the spice and everything. This smells like it is gonna hit the spot.
There you go.
It looks like it's gonna hit the spot when I eat it. This is a solid Thanksgiving idea, for real.
Okay. All right. Well, there's your fork. I have my fork. Let's dig in.
Here we go.
Let's have a look. I have a little bit of the celery, the carrots, the cauliflower, all on my fork. I got a big piece.
You almost need a spoon.
I know, right? All right, here we go.
Oh, hot, but good.
Right on, Daryl. Well, I really enjoyed cooking with you.
I learned so much from you today, and I don't know. I'm just gonna stash this for dinner Monday through Friday. This is good. That's Jay Vilar, Program Director of Haley House. You can find the full step-by-step recipe for Haley House's cauliflower stuffing on our homepage at WBUR.org. And you can learn more about Haley House and how to get involved there at their website, haleyhouse.org. And that's all for today. You can find us on Twitter at WBUR The Common or email at thecommon@WBUR.org. Drop us a line, tell us how you're liking the show, and hey, what else do you want to hear? Thanks as always for listening to The Common. I'm Daryl C. Murphy. I'll catch you soon.